We are live. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what we about. Y'all know what we do here. Y'all know what's about to happen. Hope everybody's had a great Sunday. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. Everybody got a mom. So happy Mother's Day to everybody. To your mothers, whoever they happen to be, wherever they happen to be at. We are live right now. We got Facebook on my left, Instagram on my right. As y'all coming in, over on Instagram and on Facebook. Tell me your name and location in the comments section, and we getting started in about 60 seconds. We're going to get started. 60 seconds. Happy Mother's Day, everybody out there, and everybody out there who is not a mother. Happy Mother's Day to your mother, whoever they are, wherever they at. As y'all coming in, tell me your name and location in the comments section. We're going to get into it. Y'all already know what the topic is. This is part 3 of 3-part series. We started on Friday, then we did it yesterday, and now today is part 3. So as y'all coming in, tell me your name and location in the comment section, and we're going to get into it. We're getting started in 60 seconds. Facebook, if you're watching this on replay on Facebook, hit that share button. Share this with somebody on your timeline, and you can leave a comment. Tell me what you heard in here that really hit a nerve with you, struck a chord with you. Is going to help you step your game up and go to the next level. We got Rob from Arizona. What's going on, Rob? As y'all coming in, tell me your name and location. We're going to get started in a minute. I'm going to keep saying that. Actually, I ain't going to keep saying this. We're going to get started in a minute. Name and location in the comment section. I'll shout out anybody who puts their name and location in the comment section. Then we're going to get started. Hope everybody's had a great weekend. What is today? We are almost halfway through the month of May. It's the 10th. So we into the middle of May right now. I say the first 10 days is like the beginning. The last 10 days is the end. And the middle is everything else. So we about to be in the middle of the month of May already into 2020. This time is going by. We got Eoghan, Ireland. Shout out to Ireland. I know a kid who's playing overseas in Ireland. I don't know if he's still there, but I know he was. But anyway, we getting started. We're going to get started in 30 seconds. I'm going to give everybody just like 1 more minute to check in and get ready. If you are already in here, then I'm going to give you a minute to open up your laptop or your tablet or wherever you got. Grab a pen and paper so you can take notes on what I'm going to talk about here today. The stuff that I talk about, you're not going to remember most of it. You might like it in a moment, and it might feel good in a moment while you're listening to me, and you might remember that it was good and it felt good, and you'll come back the next day, but you will not retain it if you are not taking notes. You got to take notes on things you want to retain them. Nobody's long-term memory is that good. So anything that I'm saying here today, all right, who here can tell me half of the 10 points that I gave you yesterday without looking at notes and without Googling it? You probably can't. But anyway, all I can do is plant the seed. Now, if you don't water the seed, it ain't my fault. But anyway, let's get into it. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day. For those who don't know me, I'm a former 9-year professional athlete. I'm author of 26 books. I've performed 4 TED Talks. I have published over 15,000 pieces of original content over the last 15 years. That's 1,000 a year, is only 365 days in a year. Do the math on that. That's over 7,000 YouTube videos, 7,000 articles, 1,500 podcast episodes that I call master classes. I have created all of this under this whole framework of work on your game. That is the philosophy. That's the business. It's all about taking the pro athlete mindset and teaching you how that applies to your business, to your sport, and to your life. How to get into the top 1% of what you do mentally from the inside out so you can dominate your game, whatever game you happen to be involved in. We got all kinds of light going on here. I'm trying to see if I can get me a better light. This light is way too bright. All right, there we go. I think that's pretty much the same. But I am a consultant, coach, keynote speaker, trainer. I already told you I'm an author. I already told you about the content. I do all of these things. And again, it all goes under this umbrella of work on your game. One of my books is called Work on Your Game. If you have read all my other books, or you're looking for a book to get started with, this is one. I got a couple books you can get for free as well that I'll tell you about in a moment. But today's topic, we are on part 3 of 3. That started on Friday, where I'm going over the 31 major causes of failure as laid out by the famous personal development author, man by the name of Napoleon Hill, who wrote the book Think and Grow Rich. If you haven't read the book Think and Grow Rich, then I would suggest you go get it. You can buy it on Amazon for 99 cents. You can get it at a bookstore, your local bookstore, whenever they open again. You could download it online right now for free. You could download the PDF somewhere for free. Somebody probably uploaded the audio book to, what's that website? YouTube. On any of the streaming services, you can look up Napoleon Hill lectures and books, and a lot of that stuff is online. It's completely, I forget what the phrase is slipping my mind right now. And public domain is the phrase. Basically means you can use it however you want to use it. So what we're talking about here today these 31 major causes of failure. I'm not telling you these because I want you to go do them so that you can precipitate failure in your life. I'm telling you about these 31 major causes of failure so you can check yourself and make sure you do not become victim to any one of these causes of failure. To make sure that you stay on the straight and narrow path of success. You need to check these for two reasons. Number one, so that you can check yourself and make sure you are not committing any of these sins against success, which will lead you to failure. And number two, you need to check the people around you. Check the people that you're associating with. Check the people that you're hanging with and make sure that they don't have any of these ailments, because if they do and you're hanging with them, then guess what? By law of association, you're going to become just like them if you hang around them often enough. We talked about that and choosing the wrong associates in your life, period. And what number was that? I can't remember what number it was. We just talked about it yesterday. That was number 17. Wrong selection of associates. It says specifically in business, but it could be in life. It could be in playing sports. It could be in anything that you do. If you choose the wrong associates and their failures, then you are pulling yourself closer to failure. Even if you, let's say you're such a successful person that even if you hang around failures, you don't become a failure. And that may be true. That may happen. You could be so good at success and so good at what you do. If you hang around some people who are losers, you're still going to be in a good space. But the problem is you had to use a whole lot of your own energy, your own psychic energy to counteract the energy of the losers that you're hanging around. So now you didn't lose, but you had to use up all your energy just to not lose. It's kind of like if you get a virus or something and you don't get sick, but you have the virus, like the COVID-19 virus, you might not get sick. But the amount of energy that your immune system has to use just to fight off the virus to keep you from getting sick, now it is depleted because it had to use all that energy just to fight off the negativity. Now imagine if it didn't have to fight that off, what could you do with that extra energy that you have available to you? It's the same thing when it comes to your associates. So today, again, that's the two reasons why you want to check yourself and you want to check others on all of these points. So today I'm doing numbers 21 through 31. So 11 more. Again, it's the 31 major causes of failure. Point number 21, the habit of indiscriminate spending. Now, you might not think that this would be listed in causes of failure. You might think it all might be mindset or, talking to other people and who you hang with. But also we got to add in indiscriminate spending because we all understand that you need money to live, right? You need money to pay your bills. You need money to pay for the device you're watching me on right now and the data connection or the Wi-Fi that allows me to stream what I'm streaming into my device, and then you can stream it to your device damn near automatically. That costs money, right? If you got clothes on right now, somebody paid for it. If you ate a meal today, somebody paid for it. If the lights are on in your house right now, or the heat is on, or the air conditioning's on, somebody paid for that. You got a car outside, somebody paid for that. You got kids, somebody's paying for that. Or when you were born, somebody paid, and when you die, somebody has to pay. So money matters. It may not be the only thing in your life. It may not be the most important thing to you. Maybe it is. But money matters no matter who you are. So if you're indiscriminate with your spending, knowing that money is one of the 5 forms of investment, we got time, money, attention, energy, and focus. If you are indiscriminate with any of those 5 forms of investment, you are precipitating your own failure. What are you doing with your money? What are you doing with it? Are you using your money to make more money? Are you spending money on investments, things that are going to pay you back in the future, or are you spending all your money on expenses, things that once that money is gone, is pretty much gone? Now, there are some things in life that you're going to have to put the money out and you just got to do it. But almost all of them, you can draw a line back to something positive. For example, if you spend money on a burger and fries so you can eat lunch, necessarily the burger and fries are not going to make you money, but the burger and fries puts energy in your body so that you can go back to work and you can do something that's going to make you money. So you should always be able to draw a line between how you are using your money and how it's going to make you better. You might have to spend money on the electric bill for your house, and paying the electric bill is not going to make you any money, but paying the electric bill does keep the lights on so that you can see, so you can read a book that's going to make you smarter. So there's a way that you can always draw a line from the way that you're using your money to something that's going to give you something back, create a return on investment. If you're indiscriminate with your spending, you use your money unwisely in ways that do not pay you back, then eventually what's going to happen is you're going to have less money or maybe no money, and then you don't have the power to do the things that you really want to do with your life, or the power to take care of situations, because you might have a situation pop up in your life that you didn't know was going to happen, that you couldn't control, but it's going to cost you something. If you don't have that something to take care of that situation, then how are you going to handle it? You might not be able to handle it at all, and now you become the victim of the circumstance, simply because you weren't smart with your money when you had some. Now you don't have any, and now you don't have any money to be smart with. So be careful with what you're doing with your money. This is a way that you can precipitate failure, by being wasteful with money. Doesn't matter how much you have. If you're wasting it, then you're letting money know that you don't really care about it. You're not showing respect to the money, and that money will find a way to find its way out of your life if you show that you don't respect it. Point number 22. We are talking here today, for those who came in the middle of this, we're talking the 31 major causes of failure. And for anyone who has any question, I always address the questions at the end of the stream. So point number 22, lack of enthusiasm. What does enthusiasm mean? I think everybody knows what everybody has a definition for the word, but let's look up the definition online. It says intense and eager enjoyment, interest, or approval. Intense and eager enjoyment, interest, and approval. If you do not have enthusiasm in life, you can become a failure, or you probably will become a failure. Now, enthusiasm doesn't mean you got to be enthusiastic about everything. You ain't got to be enthusiastic about brushing your teeth or taking a shower or putting your socks on, but you need to find something about which you are enthusiastic. What in your life gives you that kind of energy, where you had that intense enjoyment, that intense approval, something that you're really looking forward to doing, and people can feel through your voice, through your body language, through your tone, through your energy, just the way you move about, that you are enthusiastic about what you're doing. What area of your life do you have that level of enthusiasm? If anywhere. Do you know anybody who has a high level of enthusiasm for the things that they do? I guarantee you that person is probably very successful in that thing, or they're on their way to being very successful in that particular area where they have a high level of enthusiasm. You got to ask yourself, what are you enthusiastic about? Do you know anybody who doesn't seem to be enthusiastic about anything? And is that person on their way to success? Probably not. Because if you're doing something that's taking you on a path to success, you can see that you're going somewhere. You have a goal or aim, and you're working on getting there, and you can see yourself getting to that goal. Why would you not be enthusiastic? Why would you not have intense enjoyment and approval of what you're doing? If you can see yourself becoming better, of course you're going to be enthusiastic about it, because look, I'm getting better. I can see myself getting to that finish line. I can see that I'm better today than I was yesterday. I can see I'm at a better spot right now than I was 8 weeks ago. I can see that right now I'm doing better than I was a year ago. If you can see that, if you can see progress in your own life from where you were to where you are, of course you will be enthusiastic about what you have going on in your life. Everybody's enthusiastic when they're on their way to success. Now, people are doing something all the time, and they're putting a lot of time and energy into it, but they can't really see themselves becoming successful. They don't really see themselves getting better. They don't really see a path to anywhere better than where they already are. They could continue doing it, but they have no enthusiasm. I'll give you an example. You ever go to a grocery store, or the CVS or the Walgreens, or any business? I'm using retail business as an example because everybody's been inside a retail business. You ever be inside one of those businesses, and the employees that work there, maybe even the bosses, the managers, maybe even the owner who are working in that business, they just seem to not be enthusiastic about the job. They have they have such negative energy that you don't even want to ask them a question. You don't want to ask them what aisle is the bread in, because they got such negative energy. Before you even say a word, that you could tell they don't want to talk to you. You ever be in a business where you don't even want to ask the employees a question, because their energy, when you ask them a question, they act like you're offending them by asking them to do their job? You ever be around a person like that? That kind of energy we know that's not enthusiasm, right? Is that person going somewhere? Is that person going to become successful? Is that person on a path to achievement and accomplishment? I think we can all agree probably not. So you need to figure out, if you don't have an answer already, where in your life can you find some enthusiasm? Wherever you do find enthusiasm, figure out how you can stay there. Because when you're in the area in which you have enthusiasm, you will create more energy, because energy creates energy. You're feeling positive, and positive attracts positive, and you will start to create success with the right information, and success begets success. So whatever energy you have in that spot, you're going to create more of it. Add in there to get the right information on how to make success in that area. And not only will you build success for yourself, you will attract other people who are also successful, and you'll be able to pull other people up to success, all through the skill of enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is a skill. Point number 23. We are talking the 31 major causes of failure here today. So that was a lack of enthusiasm leads to failure. So this is number 23. Intolerance. What is intolerance? Intolerance is a person who has a closed mind, a person who just decides this is the way life is, this is the way I see things, and I'm not changing it no matter what you say, no matter what I hear, no matter what I experience, no matter what occurs to me. I am not changing my mind because this is just the way that I see things. Napoleon Hill says in his words, a person with a closed mind on any subject seldom gets ahead. Intolerance means that one has stopped acquiring knowledge. They basically turn the sign around on this storefront. You ever go to a business and they got the sign in the door that says, yes, we're open, and then they flip it around. It says, sorry, we're closed. This is what people are doing when they're intolerant. They're turning that sign around and saying, sorry, we're closed. We're closed for business. I'm not open to any new information. I'm not open to meeting a new person, thinking a new thought, having a new opinion. I've just decided that my mind is closed, and whatever is in here, and whatever's on the outside is on the outside. We call that intolerance, and intolerance leads to failure. The most damaging forms of intolerance are those connected with religious, racial, and political differences of opinion. This is the person who decides, hey, whatever this political side is doing, I hate it. And whatever this political side is doing, I love it. Or whatever this religion is doing, I hate. And whatever this one's doing, I love. Or this race and that race. These are people who just decide that anybody of this race, this religion, this political leaning, this belief, or is from this place is right or wrong. And they refuse to change their mind regardless of what information or experience or anything they come across in life. We call this intolerance. These are people whose minds are so closed, you can never pry them open with anything. Now, you need to check yourself, because everything that I say here, yes, I'm going to say this is the person that, and I may even use an example that maybe you can think of someone in your life, but I want you to take everything that I'm saying and you need to hold it up to a mirror and you need to check yourself on all this, because this, what I talk about, and this whole work on your game philosophy, especially what I talk about in this book right here, is not about them. It's not about him and her and they and other people. It always comes back to ourselves. We always got to bring it back to, all right, what am I doing? How did I cause this situation? Where can I check myself? How can I make myself better? Even though you may know somebody who fits each one of these causes of failure, because maybe you just know a lot of people who are failing in life, you also need to check yourself and ask yourself, first of all, how much influence does that person have on me since you know them? And number two, am I doing any of those things? Am I ever intolerant? Have I closed my mind off in any areas of my life where I just say, you know what, I got my beliefs and I'm not changing them no matter what happens? I'm sure you probably have some. Maybe you're not thinking of them right now, but I'm sure you got some. The more intolerant you are, the closer you are, and the faster you will move towards failure. Point number 24. The topic is the 31 major causes of failure. Number 24 is intemperance. The most damaging forms of intemperance are connected with eating, strong drink, and sexual activities. Intemperance means overindulgence, meaning not knowing how to temper your actions. You know what it means to temper something? It means to know when to moderate. It means knowing when to say when. It's when to not have another drink. It's when to not keep messing with this person who obviously is not interested in talking to you. It's when to stop trying to talk to this girl at the bar who just told you that she's not interested, or she's giving you a whole lot of signals to let you know she's not interested because she's trying to be polite and you keep talking to her because you're drunk. Is knowing when to walk away. Is knowing when to hand your keys to a designated driver when you're out because you are too intoxicated to operate a vehicle. It is knowing when to stop eating because you've had enough to eat and you're already 20 pounds overweight and the doctor already told you need to get in shape. It is knowing when to stop. That's what temperance means. It means knowing when to slow down, when to stop, when to walk away. Those of y'all who are old enough might remember the Lay's potato chips commercials where it said you can't eat just one. You eat one potato chip, you want another one. Then you want another one, then you want another one. Now, technically speaking, the engineers of these companies know how to engineer the food in such a way that you don't want to eat one. Not you can't. You don't want to eat one. As soon as you eat one, you feel like eating another one, another one, another one. They set it up like that. However, intemperance means you not being able to control yourself. Temperance is all about self-control and self-discipline. How much of it do you have? How was the last time that you ate enough and then you said, you know what, I'm good. I'm not going to eat anymore, even though there's more food available? When was the last time you had enough to drink, you knew it was enough, and you said, you know what, I'm good. I'm not going to have any more to drink? Even overindulgence in sexual activity. And sexual activity doesn't necessarily mean having sex. Sexual activity could be porn. You on porn websites. You investing in porn. How much are you paying on those websites to look at that stuff? The magazines that you're on, whatever websites you're browsing, whatever you're looking at on Instagram. Instagram got a nice little soft porn section, right, that we call fitness models. Well, how much of it are you investing in? Again, this stuff is taking time and energy away from what you could be doing to help yourself get to where you want to go in life. Is it helping you get to where you want to go, or is it not? If it's not helping you where you get to where you want to go, it is a bad investment, and bad investments, eventually you got to pay them debts, as I tell you all the time. Point number 25. We are talking the 31 major causes of failure. Number 25, inability to cooperate with other people. More people lose their positions and big opportunities in life because of this fault, their inability to cooperate with others, than any other reason on this list, according to Napoleon Hill. He's the one who created this list. Not being able to cooperate with other people, meaning you don't know when to fall back. There are times in life that you should jump ahead and be the leader and tell everybody else what to do. And there are also times in life that you need to know when to fall back and say, you know what, I'm not going to lead this time. I'm going to get into the back of the line, and this person's going to lead, and I'm going to follow their lead. I'm going to follow their direction. I'm going to let them run the show, and I'm going to just be a soldier in this situation. Everybody has to know when to follow and when to lead. And the thing is, there are many more followers than there are leaders, and there are times when all of us at times need to be followers. We don't always all need to be leaders. Sometimes you don't know what the hell you're doing. You should not be leading because you don't know what you're doing. You're doing something new. You're stretching yourself. You're stepping outside of your comfort zone. You are unqualified to be a leader. Let the person who's already done it lead. Then you follow. You become a good follower. You learn as a good soldier. Then eventually you get to the position where you can lead. But you got to be able to humble yourself enough to know when to fall back and cooperate with other people. Is a fault which no well-informed businessman or leader will tolerate is not being able to cooperate with other people. Any of you who is a boss or an owner or a supervisor at any type of organization, any type of team, organization, sports, business, anything, if there's an uncooperative person in that circle, usually you get rid of them. Any healthy organization will get rid of them. In sports, you got a player on the team who is just not good at cooperating with other people, can't seem to get along with anybody. We call them a cancer. A cancer is a person who just has this negative energy, and their energy is going to spread to everybody else the longer we allow them to fester and sit around in the group. So as soon as you recognize a cancer inside of any organism, you got to get rid of the cancer. Just like if you're a doctor and you go to see the doctor, and the doctor says you got some cancer cells in your thigh or in your throat or in your lungs or in your heart, then they got to operate immediately. No, not 3 weeks from now. No, not after you go on vacation. Like right now, we need to operate to get rid of that cancer, because the longer we let it sit there, the more it's going to fester and the worse situation you're going to be in. Uncooperative people are cancers. They must be removed immediately. If you are a cancer, you don't have the ability to cooperate with people. Let me actually turn that around. If you don't have the ability to cooperate with people and you find yourself being uncooperative for whatever reason in many situations in your life, then you are the cancer that I'm talking about right now. You need to check yourself. Again, like I said, check yourself with everything I'm saying here today and ask yourself, am I this person? Am I committing these crimes against success, such as being a cancer who can't cooperate with other people? Point number 26. Today's topic, we're going over the 31 major causes of failure. This is part 3 of 3. We're doing points number 21 through 31. Number 26. Possession of power that was not acquired through self-effort. Now, this one is important here, because power that was not acquired through self-effort could be meaning basically something that was bestowed upon you. It fell into your lap and you didn't actually earn it. Now, this one, part of it is not your fault necessarily. So, for example, if your father or your grandfather or your mom or grandma built a big business and then they left it to you when they passed away and you inherited this business, now you're in charge and you're the boss, okay, you didn't earn that position. You were born into that position. You just happen to be born to a family of parents who had some power and did some great things, and it fell into your lap when they passed away. You didn't do the work. They did the work. Like Drake said in the song, you wasn't with me shooting in the gym, but now you own the gym. You didn't earn that. Now, what are you supposed to do to it? What can you do with this to actually counteract the fact that this could possibly precipitate your failure? What you need to do is put the work in. All right, you got to put the work in to earn your position. All right, you don't want to be the son of the rich father or daughter or the rich kid who got something that you inherited, something that you didn't earn, and then everybody in that organization, everybody who knows of you, everybody who meets you finds out, oh, the only reason they're in a position of power is because their mom or their dad did something. They didn't do nothing, but the mom and the dad did something. Now this person's in a position of power, and nobody's going to respect you. They might have to respect you outwardly because you got a position and you got a title, and maybe you have certain resources that allow you that allow you to do things that other people can't do. But people are not going to truly respect you unless they know that you've earned the spot that you're in. Anybody who falls into a spot or has a spot bestowed upon them that they did not own, you will never get that full respect yourself. Now, while you personally, if anybody here is in that position, you personally may on the outside show that you are very confident and you believe in yourself and you think you have every right to have your position because, hey, it's not, even though you didn't earn the company that your dad left to you, it ain't your fault that your daddy was your daddy and he left you the business. I mean, it's not your fault. Everybody else would take it too, right? Everybody else would take the $1 million of inheritance money if they had it too. They would take the multi-billion-dollar company if they got left to them the same way that you would take it, right? Here's the thing. You will always know, when you look in the mirror, when you lay in bed at night, you will know that you didn't earn that spot. You will know you didn't earn your position. You will know that you have never actually been as good as your title. You'll know that. And trust me, I work with people directly who are in this situation, who have kind of been put in positions to where they have some success that they did not themselves earn through their own sweat equity. And they tell me, listen, even though I have this position and people have to respect it, I don't feel like I've done it. I don't feel like I've actually gotten to this level. So I have all this, but I know I'm not as good as what I got. And I want to get to the point that I am as good as what I got. So good thing for them is that they actually are trying to close that gap. So they go and try to seek some help and some advice and counsel from people who can help them close that gap. But if you don't close that gap, people aren't going to respect you. And here's the thing. You won't respect you because you know you didn't earn the spot that you're in, that you just got there through something other than your effort. And if other people know about it, listen, they might not say it to your face, but trust me, they say it when you're not around. And you know they're saying it because you're saying it to yourself. Whatever you're saying to you, everybody else is saying about you too, especially if it's a public information. Point number 27. The topic here today is the 31 major causes of failure. I'm going over points number 21 through 31, the last 11 causes of failure in life. Number 27, intentional dishonesty. In other words, telling lies. Now, of course, you don't want to be intentionally dishonest with other people as much as you can control it. I mean, you can control it 100%. The best way to not have to be dishonest with other people is not to do things that you wouldn't be proud of letting people know you did. See, the reason why usually we're dishonest with other people is because we did something that we're not very proud of. So we want to try to not have to share that information with another person. So we tell them some kind of lie, or we don't tell them the whole truth, or we tell them a half truth because we feel some type of self-conscious embarrassment over the actions that we actually took. So if you don't want to have to lie to anybody about your actions, just don't take any actions that you wouldn't feel comfortable the whole world knowing about. Don't do something that you wouldn't want the people who care about you most and that you care about most knowing about. But there's another angle to this dishonesty thing. This intentional dishonesty, which is a cause of failure, is that the last person you want to be dishonest with is yourself. And there's a lot of people out here these days who are being dishonest with themselves. Forget about everybody else or your husband or your wife or your kids or your boss. A lot of people out here in Instagram and Facebook, a lot of people being dishonest with themselves. They're not keeping it real with themselves as to who they are, where they're going, and how they got to where they are in life, how they got to the position that they're in. I've talked to, countless people. I can't even count them on my hands. People who have some gripe about life. And that gripe is usually directed at a person or a circumstance or a lack of something that they have in life. And they're putting all their energy on that thing that they don't have or this thing that somebody else messed up. But they're putting none of the energy on themselves. They're taking no ownership of the position that they're in life. I know people who are intolerant and their intolerance is causing them to fail. And when I point out to them that their intolerance is causing them to fail, they don't want to listen because they don't want to take ownership of any of the fact that any of this lack of success that they have acquired or just by default that they have in their lives. Ask yourself, how honest am I with myself? How many lies are you telling yourself every single day just so you can go to sleep at night? Just so you can feel good about yourself. Just so you can put on your face, put on that mask. And I don't mean the COVID-19 mask, but the metaphorical mask, the facade that allows you to just go out into the world and operate as a normal, rational human being. How often are you telling lies to yourself? And what lies are you telling to yourself? And once you examine those lies and realize what those lies are, ask yourself this question: why am I telling myself these lies? Where did I come up with this rationalization? Where did I create this story in my mind about what's going on and who I am and where I am and why. Where did I come up with this story? And what is this story helping me cope with? Because anytime you're telling yourself a lie and you realize you're telling yourself a lie, it's because you're trying to cover up some emotion or some energy or probably some pain or some fear that you just don't want to address for whatever reason. Now, I can't tell you what that reason is, but you can tell you, depending on how honest you're willing to be with yourself. Where are you being intentionally dishonest? Again, intentional dishonesty, I think Napoleon, when he wrote this, he was talking about other people, how your deeds will catch up with you, and if you're dishonest in business or in a relationship or whatever, eventually, whatever doesn't come out in the wash is going to come out in the rinse. But I'd rather go a level deeper because, like I said, with Work on Your Game, this whole philosophy, we always bring things back to ourselves. So forget about lying to everybody else. All right, you want to lie to TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, go ahead, whatever. All right, you don't owe those people anything for the most part. Unless they paid you for something, you got to owe them the product. But I'm talking about with yourself. All right, that's the worst lie you could tell. The worst lie you could tell is to you. Forget what other people think, because everybody is focused on their own lives. Even though they might be talking about you, they're not going to talk about you as much as they're thinking about them. All right, you need to ask yourself, how honest am I being with me? All right, that's a question that you need to ask yourself as often as possible. Plant that question in your mind and ask it to yourself many times per day. Point number 28. The topic is, we're going over 31 major causes of failure. This is part number 3. Points number 21 through 31. Number 28. Egotism and vanity are causes for failure. These qualities, says Napoleon, serve as red lights which warn others to keep away. They are fatal to success. Now listen. I talk about ego. Ego is actually, I believe, a good thing. Ego is your sense of self. It's your personal identity. It's you knowing who you are. So the ego itself is a neutral thing, as defined and laid out by Sigmund Freud back in the day. But egotism, definition, the practice of talking and thinking about oneself excessively because of an undue sense of self-importance. So egotism is when you go a little bit too far with that ego. You're taking your ego to such an extent that you are so identified with yourself that you don't even notice the other people around you. You're not willing to listen to other people. You don't hear other people. You can't pay attention to another person. If another person says something, let me ask you this question. And I know some people who have told me they've had these kind of conversations. You ever had a conversation with somebody, or you just know a person that you know every time you have a conversation with that person, right? And you say something about you, about yourself, or something that you went through, or some situation that's going on in your life, their response always, 100% of the time, they just start talking about themselves. You know anybody like that? As soon as you start talking about you, they bring the conversation back to them. You say, man, I went to the Walgreens and the register person was so mean and she wouldn't do my refund, and I tried to do this and they said this and I had to go argue with them and this and that, and you're telling them the story, and then the first thing they say out of their mouths is, man, you know what? I went to CVS and I had that same thing happen to me. They always bring the conversation back to themselves. This is one form of egotism. There are many ways that it can show itself. But egotism is the person who is so self-focused that they don't have the ability to focus on other people. So I want you to understand that ego is a good thing and it can be a bad thing here. All right. So ego is good in that you know who you are. You know what makes you unique and different from everybody else out there. You know your self-worth. You know your value out there in the world, that people can't just walk all over you and use you and not show you respect. That part of ego is the healthy ego. All right, that's the good way to use ego. And there are times when, look, if you have a list of accomplishments, you have things that you've done, you got a resume, then you could go to a boss or a hiring manager and say, yo, y'all can't pay me that much. Y'all got to pay me this much because I got this resume. I've done this. Here's my list of accomplishments. Listen, I'm better than all these other people, so you got to give me more money because that's the way you're going to get me for this job. That way, ego is a positive thing, okay? Even if it may lead to conflict, ego can be positive in that way. Egotism, the way that is being described here, egotism and vanity, is when you are just so focused on you that you don't have the ability to step outside of you and understand things from another person's perspective. And here's the problem with that. Here's the real challenge with egotism, is that you are so focused on you and you can't get into another person's shoes. You will never be able to relate to another person if you can't see things from their perspective. You can never get into a healthy relationship if you can't see things from the other person's perspective. And I'm not talking about just a intimate relationship. You definitely can't be in an intimate relationship. You can't see things from your man's or your woman's perspective, because y'all will not always see things the exact same way. Trust me. And you can't have a positive relationship with your kids if you can't see things from your kids' perspective. You're always telling them, well, you got to do things the way I said. Why? Because that's just what I said. Now, there are times you need to use that, trust me. And I don't even have kids, but I know. And at the same time, there are times when you need to see things from their perspective. You got to respect them as a person, even though they may be younger than you and they don't have as much power as you. You still got to respect them as a person. The more you respect them as a person, the sooner they will mature and respect themselves, and the more healthy relationship you will have with them in the future. A business relationship. If you can't see your business partner's perspective, how y'all going to do any business? How y'all going to conduct business? How y'all going to get to a deal? How y'all ever going to make an agreement? How y'all going to make money together if you can't see things the way they see it? You won't. What about a friendship? Can you be friends with somebody who every time you start talking about you, they bring the conversation back to themselves, and it seems like they're not even listening to you? They don't even care about you. They don't even notice that you're sitting right there at the table with them. You just happen to be the person they get to talk to for this hour. Can you be friends with somebody like that who never actually listens to you? Probably not. You probably won't even hang with that person. All right? As soon as you realize they're that type of person, you're like, all right, I'm not talking to them no more. You might have been polite enough to stay at the lunch, but all right, I ain't having lunch with them ever again after that. Why? Because that person is so focused on them that they don't even notice anybody else. If you want to become persuasive, you want to be charming, you want to be a seductive type of individual, Robert Greene wrote a great book called The Art of Seduction that I suggest any of you read. You want to be great at persuading other people. And Robert Cialdini wrote a book called Influence. Both of those books I suggest you read. And what those books both stress is that you must develop the ability to stop thinking about you and think about the other guy or the other girl that you're talking to. Think how they would be thinking. This requires an extra step of thinking. See, you can think how you think by default, or you automatically do that. To think how I might be thinking, you got to stop thinking about you. Then you got to look at things from my perspective and say, all right, what might he be thinking? What is he seeing? Why is he talking the way that he's talking? These are the things you got to ask yourself. And this requires another level of thinking. But the investment that you put into this level of thinking will pay for itself 10 times over if you can develop this skill. This requires a certain level of maturity. And this is when you can learn when to pull your ego out and when to put your ego away. All right, Jay-Z had a line in the song. He says, sometimes you need your ego. You got to remind these fools. But sometimes you got to put your ego aside. So you got to know when to do what. So here's another one of these two pieces of conflicting / contradicting information. You got to be smart enough to know when to use which one. Point number 29. Today's topic, the 31 major causes of failure. This is part number 3, points number 21 through 31. Number 29, guessing instead of thinking. This is a good one right here. Being on the internet and I've read, responded to, and been inundated with over 2 million comments, questions, DMs, emails over the last 15 years. That's not an exaggeration. That's a real number. And a lot of times people will ask me a question like, Dre, I got this situation, what should I do? And I'll say something like, well, what do you think you should do? I basically put the ball right back in their court because they tell me the whole situation and the options. And I say, well, what do you think you should do? I mean, you coming to me asking me what you should do. You the one who has to live the life. What do you think? What are your thoughts? What are your ideas? I've even said things to people like, they say, well, Dre, I want to play college ball. And I reached out to 10 coaches and none of the coaches emailed me back. What should I do? And I say to them, tell me your 5 best ideas for what you should do starting right now. That's what I'll say. What are your 5 best ideas for actions you could take at this exact moment? And they'll say something like, well, I don't know. I mean, you're supposed to be helping people. If I knew, then I wouldn't be coming to you. Well, there's some version of some BS, useless answer that is not going to get them anywhere. And if they give me that type of answer, I don't respond. I don't talk to them again. Well, number one, why? Number one, because I don't give a damn if they play college basketball or not. It ain't my life. I already played college basketball. If you ain't going to make it, you ain't going to make it. All right, you ain't going to if you fail, it's going to be because you failed. All right, it ain't going to be because of me. And number 2, if you challenge a person to think and they get mad at you, are they telling you everything you need to know about them? I'll say that one more time. Person asks you a question, they ask you for help, and you challenge them to think about their problem, and they get mad at you. They just told you everything you need to know about them. And you should probably disengage. If you're smart, you would disengage. Now, if you're dumb, you keep talking to them. Actually, that's not even dumb. That's stupid, because I just told you that's not the smart thing to do. So if you know something's not smart, you do it anyway, then it's stupid. If you don't know that something's not smart and you do it, then it's dumb, because you're just ignorant. You don't know. But once you know and you do it anyway, then you become stupid. Guessing instead of thinking. If you were just engage your brain, which is the most powerful tool known to man, the human brain, it is more powerful than the rocket ships that NASA launches off. It's more powerful than the Tesla. It's more powerful than the horses that run the Kentucky Derby. It's more powerful than the MMA fighters, and they had the UFC fights last night. It's more powerful than all of that. It's more powerful than Mike Tyson uppercut. Is the human brain. The problem that many people have with their brain is that they don't use it. The human brain is a muscle. You know how muscles work? The more often you use a muscle, the stronger it gets. And if you stop using a muscle, it stops working. It gets smaller, it shrivels up, and then when you call on it, it's no power because you haven't been exercising it. Anybody watching me who has big muscles, how often do you lift weights? All right, all the time, right? You can't just lift weights for 5 years, get big muscles, and say, all right, I'm good. I'm good on weightlifting. I ain't got to do this ever again. That's check, done. No, you got to keep doing it. Same thing with your brain. If you stop using it, it stops working. So if you start guessing instead of thinking, that's because you have retired your brain. You told your brain to go on vacation. Your brain doesn't need a vacation. Your brain is always ready to work if you give it an assignment. The problem many people have is that they stop giving their brain an assignment because they think Instagram or some influencer or a book or a podcast is supposed to do their thinking for them. No. The book or the podcast or the influencer or wherever you get your information is going to assist you. It's an assistant. A book does not think for you, okay? This is an assistant. I'm going to give you some material that's going to help you if you apply it, okay? The last chapter in this book, the title is Don't Live by the Book. Right here, number 12. So you don't think I'm lying. Don't live by the book. Now, I did not write this book so I can think for you. I wrote this book to help you think for yourself. That's the purpose of it. Every book is like that. Not every book has that chapter, but everybody who writes books ain't me. Now, there's some egoism. But what I'm telling you here is you got to start using your brain. All right, it exists for a reason. If you neglect to use it, it will neglect to help you when you need it. When you call on it, it won't be ready to go. It's kind of like if you're not warmed up, your physical body's not warmed up, but you go try to do a 100-meter dash, but you didn't warm up, you might pull a hamstring simply because you're not ready. All right, you might strain your brain. You might get a brain sprain. All right, your brain gets sprained. You might pull a brain muscle if you try to use it and you ain't been using it before. All right, make sure it's in shape always. Point number 30. Today's topic. We're talking the 31 major causes of failure, points number 21 through 31. Number 30, lack of capital. What is capital? And Napoleon Hill's, what he's talking about here, capital mean actual money. Capital is wealth in the form of money or other assets owned by a person or organization. Where is that? Owned a person or organization or available or contributed for a particular purpose, such as starting a company or investing. In other words, capital is wealth. What does wealth mean? For those of you who don't know what wealth means, I talked about this a few days ago. Wealth is not money in the bank. Wealth is not assets. Wealth is not your net worth. Wealth is anything that people want. That's what wealth means. Wealth is anything that people want. There's a guy by the name of Paul Graham who wrote an essay called How to Create Wealth. If you have never read that essay, you never heard of Paul Graham, go on Google. As soon as this is over, write it down right now so you remember. His name is Paul Graham, spell it how it sounds, and type in How to Create Wealth and read that essay. It's going to take you about 30, 40 minutes. Read it. It's one of the best investments you can make in your life. Wealth is anything people want. A lack of capital means a lack of wealth. Meaning you have nothing that other people want. Will that make you a failure in life? Hell yes. If you don't have anything that other people want, you will fail. Okay? So you need to have something that people want. If you have knowledge and people want it, that's a good thing. That's an asset. That's wealth. If you look good and people like looking at good-looking people, that's wealth. If you are a really good athlete and people like athletes, the athletes can help teams win games, and winning games brings all kinds of spoils to the victors, that is wealth. Anything that you have that other people want is wealth. Okay, if you sell water in the desert, you got wealth. You might be the wealthiest person there. If you sell gloves in Alaska, that's wealth. If you sell masks during COVID-19, that is wealth. Why? Because people want it. When you have something that people want, you are valuable. If you have nothing that people want, that means you have no capital, meaning you can't start anything. You can't make anything happen. You can't create any kind of energy if you have no capital. All right, energy is capital. Knowledge is capital. Personal initiative is capital. There's a book by the name of it's actually called How to Create Wealth. I wasn't even thinking of this book, but now that I'm talking about it, perfect example. The author's name is Robert G. Allen. The book is called How to Create Wealth. And Robert G. Allen was, I think he's still alive, a real estate expert / guru. And I'm not even in the real estate game, but I read this book anyway because I like to get information from different fields, even stuff that I'm not deep in. But Robert G. Allen talks about in this book that there are 8 forms of assets in life, or 8 forms of wealth. Same thing. Assets are things that put money in your pocket. Wealth is something that people want. As long as you know how to make that wealth get to the people who want it and make an exchange, then it becomes an asset because it puts money in your pocket. Here's the thing. Robert G. Allen, 8 forms of assets. Cash. Cash in the bank is an asset. Credit. You got credit you can access? Great. If you have a steady income and you have, I can't even remember, you have real estate. Any kind of real estate that you own, property that you own, steady income, cash, and credit. These are all the forms, real assets or hard assets. The other forms, intangible, soft assets, knowledge, relationships, information, courage. These are all assets, meaning these are things that other people want. These are things that can put money in your pocket if you know how to use them. If you don't have any of those 8 things that I just listed, you are in trouble until you do something about it. You need to do something about it like yesterday. I mean, you need to go on the podcast app, YouTube. No, forget those. Go on Amazon or Audible and invest in yourself. Get some books and start reading them like today. Not tomorrow, today. Don't watch the Michael Jordan documentary at 9 o'clock. Go read a book. All right, so you could develop some assets and some wealth. And then maybe one day people will be making a documentary about you instead of you watching other people. A lack of capital will lead to failure in life. Point number 31. This is the last one. We're talking 31 major causes of failure in life as laid out by Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. He said this one, any cause of failure that has not been included in this list. So he basically created a catch-all. That's point number 31. Is any cause of failure that is not in this list could also make you a failure in life. So basically, these 30 things that I listed is not the conclusive list. It's not everything. There are other ways that you could possibly fail that Napoleon Hill wasn't thinking about when he wrote this list. So if you think you're doing something that wasn't listed and you're like, oh, well, Dre didn't say it, so that means I can't possibly fail from this, wrong. You can still fail from that. All right, because I think he had enough vision to note that, you know what, the world is going to go on after I'm gone and after I write this. So how about I create a catch-all just in case some new stuff comes about that causes people to fail that I didn't think of. But this is pretty conclusive. This pretty much covers everything. From between his explanation, if you read the book, and my explanation, what I've given you here over the last 3 days, I've basically given you every possible reason you could fail in life. Now, I'm going to go over all of these reasons. I'm going to go over all 31, starting at point number 1, the 31 major causes of failure. I'm just going to read off the list. Then I'm going to tell you about these 2 free books that I got sitting in front of me, free for you. They're free for me because I wrote them, but free for you as well. And then I'm going to take any question that we got down in the comment section. I'm going over the 31 major causes of failure. I've explained each of these over the last 3 days. If you didn't know, now you know. Here we go. Number 1, unfavorable hereditary background. Number 2, lack of a well-defined purpose. Number 3, lack of ambition to aim above mediocrity. Number 4, insufficient education. Number 5, lack of self-discipline. Number 6, ill health. Number 7, unfavorable environmental circumstances during childhood. Number 8, procrastination. Number 9, lack of persistence. Number 10, negative personality. Number 11, lack of controlled sexual urge. Number 12, uncontrolled desire for something for nothing. Number 13, lack of a well-defined power of decision. Number 14, 1 or more of the 6 basic fears: poverty, criticism, health, loss of love, old age, and death. Number 15, wrong selection of a mate in marriage. Number 16, overcaution. Number 17, wrong selection of associates in business. Number 18, superstition and prejudice. Number 19, wrong selection of a vocation. Number 20, lack of concentration of effort. Number 21, lack of indiscriminate spending, the habit of indiscriminate spending. Number 22, lack of enthusiasm. Number 23, intolerance. Number 24, intemperance. Number 25, inability to cooperate with others. Number 26, possession of power that was not acquired through self-effort. Number 27, intentional dishonesty. Number 28, egotism and vanity. Number 29, guessing instead of thinking. Number 30, lack of capital. Number 31, everything else you could possibly fail from. Those are the 31 major causes of failure in life. If any one of those is present in your life right now, you are on your way to failure. You are on the highway to failure. You need to get off that highway, get off at the very next exit, do something else. Do something else from what you were doing. Go the other direction. because you're on a highway to failure. If any of those is infecting your life right now, you got 24 hours to watch the replay of what I just explained. Let me tell you about these two books right here. This book right here is called The Mirror of Motivation. This book is free. It's called The Self-Guide to Self-Discipline. You can get it at mirrormotivation.com. Let me tell you why you want to get it, so that you can start lighting your fire from the inside out. Reverse the effects of any one of these 31 major causes of failure that have been infecting your life up to this point. I forgive you because you didn't know about it. Now you know about these 31 major causes of failure, so you can do something about it. The first thing you could do is get yourself a book that is already paid for. I already paid for the book. You take care of the shipping by going to mirrorofmotivation.com. I guarantee you this book will change your life from the inside out. It's going to teach you how to look in the mirror to get the motivation, the inspiration, the power that you need that is already within you. You just haven't learned how to tap into it. Mirrorofmotivation.com. This book right here is called The Overseas Basketball Blueprint. I wrote this book specifically for the basketball player who feels like you have the skill, the talent, and the drive to play professional basketball overseas, yet you have not gotten the opportunity, you've not gotten the looks, you've been overlooked your whole career, and you are sick and tired of being sick and tired when it comes to your basketball career. Go to balloverseas.com. I'm going to give you the whole blueprint, 237 pages of exactly what you need to know and what you need to do to play professional basketball. The book is already paid for. You take care of the shipping. Go to balloverseas.com. I guarantee you this book will give you all the information you need to play ball overseas. You read this book and follow what I say in this book. The only reason you would not play ball overseas is if you have no talent. If you got talent and you got drive and you got skill and you read this book, you will get a job playing ball overseas. Balloverseas.com. Now I'm going to address all questions that we got in the comment section. Does it sound like I said any of that stuff before? EOG Hano Daily. What's going on? Trainer TG says, do you have a business plan template or vision board template that you use? If so, can I have it? Do I have a business plan template? I didn't create my business plan template, but I follow a business, what do they call it? Like a business strategy setup. It's made by a guy by the name of Alex Sharfin. I suggest you will look him up online. Spell it how it sounds. His name's Alex Sharfin. He created a business plan, not even a business plan. It's a strategic direction for business. And you can put any business into his system, and it will help you get strategy and get some direction in your business. So go look that guy up, Trainer TG. As far as vision board stuff, goal setting and things like that, I do have that. So it's two separate things you're asking about. As far as vision board stuff, yes, you can have that by going to workonmygame.com/workbook. Workonmygame.com/workbook. That's the mental workbook. That's the name of that book. Rob from Arizona. What's good? Happy Mother's Day to you and yours as well. Cool Kadim. What's good? I don't know if we got any questions today. I'm scrolling through. Let's see. Ronnie Pease was good. Money May says, appreciate the content. Been following since 2013. I used to practice ball with hoop handbooks and my friends. That's what's up. Shout out to everybody who has evolved through the audience from basketball to everything else. Swan says, sorry for being late. You ain't gotta be. Don't be sorry to me. You didn't hurt me by being late. You hurt yourself. Kobe on purpose. What's going on? All right, I don't think I have any questions, so maybe the material was just that perfect here today. So I'm going to tell you about these books one more time. Mirrorofmotivation.com. Book's already paid for. You take care of the shipping. We ship this book anywhere in the world, worldwide. I got a box with 30 of these books sitting right over there. I can see it right here from where I'm at. Balloverseas.com. You want to play basketball overseas, go to balloverseas.com. The book's paid for. You take care of the shipping. We ship this worldwide. I got 30 of these up in that cabinet up there, and I'm about to ship all of these books out in the next 48 hours because a lot of them have already been spoken for. If you want to be spoken for, go to one of these websites and get your book. Get the free book. Book's already paid for. You take care of the shipping. Everybody have a great Mother's Day. Stay safe. Listen, this whole lockdown quarantine thing is about to be over in the next couple of weeks because people is tired of it. So be ready. Be ready to get back out here in these streets and do what you do. Work on your game. Dre all day. We out. Have a happy Sunday.